Welcome back. As I mentioned, in studio we have Brian Gruner and Marcia Garcia. Well, hello. Welcome in studio. We had you one time before, but we haven't seen you in a while, so welcome back.
Thank you.
So how are things going in recreation? Are you guys super fired up because of all the stuff going on?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of things going on, so it's super exciting. We're just glad to be back in operation, allowing residents to come in and utilize the amenities and the facilities as much as we can right now.
Right.
So it's definitely a very exciting time.
Well, good. Well, good. Well, we wanted to go over some of the reopenings that we had originally, and that started in June. And go ahead and just let us know what reopened and what happened again in July. Right.
So on June 15th is when the state of California, basically lifted the mandates in regards to the COVID, requirements with the masks and so forth and different things. So obviously on that day we expanded our services right away. We opened up the many different facilities, including Clubhouse 1 in particular, because that's really our main hub of activities and programs. So we have the archery room, we have the shuffleboard, we have the game room, the drop-in lounge and so forth. And so that's just obviously one of the facilities that we actually opened up. And then we did also open up Clubhouse 5, the game room there, and the gym over there as well.
Right.
And really the big thing was that there was no restrictions, that people can just come down like they used to be able to, and partake in their activities and the programs, hang out with their friends. And so really just lifting the restrictions of making reservations and wearing a mask and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, and we've interviewed quite a few clubs now, and they're so excited, and they're like, oh yeah, Clubhouse 1, Clubhouse.
Yeah.
That seems to be a very popular one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the bus service is, so that's really the hub for our recreation department in regards to activities and facilities.
Okay, well good. So, and then like you said, lots of people are super excited.
Yeah. That, so. And then of course we also, on June 15th, we started doing the rollover reservations. We started contacting the clubs, getting them back in the reservation system and get them processed through that. And then on July 6th was another big day for us, where we started expanding the hours of operation at some of our facilities, like at Clubhouse 2, for example. That is now open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. And then as well as individual residents can come in and they can make a reservation as well now for their private parties.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
so was there a big flood? I know you had an opening the one day.
Yeah.
Was there just a flood of clubs coming?
Not so much the clubs, because we've been working with them. We know who they are. Okay. So we've been working with them way in advance, just kind of getting prepped and getting them ready. The flood came obviously on July 6th, when individual residents can come in and they can make reservations for their anniversary or their birthday parties or family get-togethers and different things like that. So that was definitely a rush where it took quite a bit of time.
Okay. Now, also, we had talked in the past about ActiveNet, and the majority of the reservations are being done through ActiveNet. Have you been pretty successful at getting people to move over to that, or is there still quite a few people that haven't done it yet?
There's certainly quite a few people who haven't done it yet, but for the majority, I think a lot of the residents have gotten used to it when they want to sign up for like an activity or a program. Okay. So we're not quite there yet for the room reservations. We will get there. But as of now, ActiveNet is primarily just for program registration or class registration, different things like that.
Okay. Now, Marcia, you're shaking your head. You're like, oh yeah. So you're probably taking phone calls from people who haven't quite mastered the ActiveNet yet. So what are some of the questions that you're getting?
So we are still helping people. Now we have the advantage of helping folks in person. Okay. We do experience a lot of residents who aren't so computer savvy, maybe because they retired in the 90s and they didn't really have to work with computers after their retirement, right? So we are helping people understand the basics of getting on the internet, finding our website, and then navigating through the process. So we're fortunate now to be able to do it in person rather than over the phone and not knowing what they're seeing on their computer. We can now just show them on the computer.
Well, maybe that's one of the classes you guys can come up with is, understanding your computer 101.
Right, and we do have some classes through the PC Club and the Mac Club, and they do help us out with that.
Perfect.
So, and we are actually looking at a pilot program where we can offer some training classes for ActiveNet, courts, and different things like that. So, so that will be exciting. That will be very helpful.
Good. I know it's hard because, like you said, they've retired before even really having to master any of that.
Right.
And then you try to introduce it to them, and while they're really good at getting a lot of it, sometimes it's not that easy.
And
So I
just
get
takes
it. I
practice
get it. Now, one thing that is a really big deal is, you know, the PAC, and boy, they are really wanting that to open and be. So how is that coming along?
Yes, it is all coming together, thankfully.
Good.
So there's a couple different areas that we focused on. So the first area is new paint in our lobby, in our dining rooms. We've done a lot of refurbishment to our dining rooms to get them ready. So we've got new flooring as well as new acoustic paneling on the walls.
Okay.
Inside our theater, we've got LED lights in the house, and we've also gone ahead and we've mended our curtains. We've cleaned them and we fireproofed them. So now we're all up to code inside the theater.
Okay.
And then throughout the building, we've upgraded to LED lighting as well.
Oh, nice, nice. And so anticipation of opening when?
Well, they are currently refurbishing our HVAC system. So they're pulling out the old one, demolishing it, and then replacing it with a new one. So that is a work in progress, and we're thinking sometime in the fall.
Okay,
that they'll
excellent.
complete that project.
Excellent. Now, you have recently, you know, come off of a couple of different events. You had a farmer's market, and you had your July 4th parade, which we got tons of photos of, and you had an exceptional participation in that. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, we've been so honored to be able to host events again, especially for big holidays, you know, that we've all wanted to celebrate and we've all been waiting for. So our parade was just a blast. We had over 100 cars show up, all different vehicles, 91 golf carts. We had our local Marines, our OC sheriffs were there in their carts, and everyone was just themed and patriotic and just so happy to be celebrating that day.
Isn't that great? And then I also read an article, I think it was in the Register, about how the farmers market was so popular that you sold out of stuff.
Yeah, it was completely sold out,
Wow.
which that has never happened, number one. And they raised over $1,600 for the Orange County Food Bank.
Isn't that nice?
So I believe 2 years ago when we had the event, they raised about $500. So you can see what a great,
that's
what a
huge.
huge difference that is.
Well, you know what? They've been having that one thing over here in the parking lot, the farmer's market type thing, but I think right in your own backyard is kind of nice, and everybody could just walk right there.
Right.
Very special. Everything really is locally grown. It all came from our local garden centers.
center.
Yeah. Just on Moulton and then up Campo Verde.
Yep.
So yeah, you can't get any more local than that.
That is awesome. That is great. Well, congratulations on 2 very successful events.
Thank you.
And so we're looking forward to what's coming up. So with that, what can we expect now moving forward? I know we've had a little bit of a scare here with some COVID numbers. So how is that affecting what's happening?
Right. So obviously we're watching that very, very closely. You know, trying to see if the state is going to issue any type of guidelines or recommendations, which they haven't yet. But obviously the numbers are ticking back up with the COVID, you know, variant, the Delta variant, which is obviously a concern, you know, and we have to watch it very closely and just kind of see what actions we need to take, if any. Hopefully, you know, we have a strong enough vaccination pool that it's not going to be an issue.
Right.
But it's certainly something that we have to keep an eye out. So, yeah. So that's, and if you saw the numbers from yesterday, I believe the county has actually changed. They were reporting it once a week, and now they're back to reporting it on a daily basis, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And I believe the case count yesterday was about 315. So that's a huge uptick from what it was 3 weeks ago when it was about 33.
I mean, it's, like you said, I mean, it's important to know these numbers. We have to keep an eye on what the important thing is about the hospitalizations and you know, that kind of thing. I think is super important because people will possibly get sick, and hopefully that'll go away. You know, it may not be as severe as it had been in the past. So we certainly hope for that.
Well, so fingers crossed on that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course, you're not the only one that's dealing with this, but many organizations are dealing with this, and this is getting people to come to work.
Right. Yep.
So you guys have some outstanding opportunities.
Yes, we do. We definitely do, and that's been a challenge, you know. And it's across the country. It's every industry is facing the same dilemma where you're trying to recruit and you're just having a very, very challenging time doing that.
Right.
So I think the expectation has to be realistic on at least what we can offer currently, and I think we're kind of at that level right now with the. You know, with Clubhouse 1, Clubhouse 2, Clubhouse 5 being open right now. Right. And then obviously as we get more staff on board, then we can start expanding our operation to, open up Clubhouse 6, for example, which is still currently closed. So that's been a challenge, and it's tough. But we're making some progress, and we're staying optimistic, and we're going to keep on recruiting until we're back to fully staffed. So, and then of course we can get really going with our operation.
Now, what's the opportunity for a resident here if they wanted to come back to work, or they wanted a part-time job? Could they apply for one of those positions?
They can, yeah, absolutely, definitely. In the recreation department in particular, it is very heavy labor intensive with the room setups and so forth. But we do have some administrative, opportunities, as well as in the fitness, some opportunities there where they don't have to do that kind of physical labor. So that's another part of our challenge is, finding people that can actually do the job.
Okay, that would be tough, because I mean,
Right.
do some more working out to lift some of those piles of chairs. well, Brian, you could just get out there and do all that, right?
I can, and
You've got plenty of time.
Of course I do, absolutely.
All right, and then of course, obviously you're taking on a little bit more of a role here with recreation. So tell us a little bit about some of the opportunities that you're going to be taking on.
Sure. So I'm delighted to come on a more frequent basis and help get the word out and inform everybody of all the upcoming changes as we continue through the PAC renovations and as we continue reopening facilities and perhaps adding more things to the calendar. So I'm happy to come back on sometime soon and help inform everybody of what all those things are.
Well, this is great news. I'm sure you're thrilled.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, great, now I don't have to be on TV anymore.
You're still going to see me.
Oh, we're still going to see you? Oh, I thought you were taking over everything. Well, thank you both. We appreciate the information.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
All right, stick around, and we are going to have village announcements with me and Brittany. So stick around.